Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. Today, I will be going to discuss about adolescence. Adolescence comes from a Latin word meaning to grow or to maturity. Today, the term adolescence has a ruder meaning. It includes mental, emotional, and social maturity as well as physical maturity. Why we says that it includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being? Because it affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. So our mental health is very important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. Pages says psychologically, adolescence is the age when the individual becomes integrated into the society of adults. The age when the child no longer feels that they is below the level of the elders but equal at least in rights. This integration into adult society has many affective aspects more or less linked with puberty. So it also includes a very profound intellectual changes. So when we say it's very profound, napakalalim na pangkaisipan na pagbabago sa nagbibinata o nagdadalaga. This less link So these intellectual transformations typical of the adolescence thinking enable him not only to achieve his integration into the social relationships of adults, which is in fact the most general characteristics of this period of development. So adolescence is a stage of human development that coincides with puberty, a biological development occurring at the average age of 11 and 12 for boys. So when we say adolescence also is the transition in terms of physical, cognitive, and social emotional changes. So the specific ages for this period vary from person to person, but in early in early adolescence characterized by puberty may come at the ages of 11 and 12. So in early adolescence, during this stage, children often start to grow more quickly, so they also begin notice others' body changes. Examples: hair growth, under the arms, and breast development in females. While in middle adolescence, may meet identity issues within the ages of 14 and 16. So, physical changes from puberty continue during middle adolescence. So, at this age, many teens becomes interested in romantic and sexual relationships. So, they also make questioning and exploring their sexual identity. So, which may be stressful if they do not have support from their family or community. In late adolescence marks the transitions into adulthood at ages 17 and 20. So this age generally have completed physical development and grown to their full adult height. S-
Kapiyok. And for this video, I am going to tackle about the physical development of high school learners or the adolescent. So at puberty, a considerable alteration in growth rate occurs. There is a swift increase in body size, a change in shape and composition of the body, and a rapid development of the gonads or sex glands, wherein gonads are typically known as the sex glands, wherein the reproductive organs, it signals the maturity of the gonads. Some of the changes are common to both sexes, but are most sex specification, meaning there are different changes that may happen to women and men, which is undergoing or undertaking the adolescent stage. It is at the beginning of adolescence, the years of greatest growth, that development differences between girl and boys, so meaning there is a sex specification from girls and boys, to become more evident. So, through growth spurt begins earlier in girls, it is during this period that boys outstrip them in development. So, the first one is the that affects the physical development of young girls and young boys are the hormones. So hormones are powerful and highly specialized chemical substances that interact with bodily cells. Hormonal changes in the hypothalamus and pituitary glands signaling the entire process of sexual maturation. So there are three processes that happens when there is a release of hormones. First one is secretion of gonadotropic hormones by the anterior pituitary and the base of the brain near the geometric center of the head. And after the gonadotropic hormones are being secreted, the gonads, which are the ovaries for the female and testes for the male, are then stimulated by the gonadotropic hormones, in turn simulating their own hormones. So this simulation causes the secretion of testosterone and male for the sex organ and then estrogen for the female organ. So, in contrast with menarche, spermachy signals the first sign of puberty and sexual maturity in boys. So, in girls, the first menstruation is called as menarche, and for the boys, it is called as spermachy. The need to discharge semen mixed with a sticky fluid produced by the prostate gland occurs periodically. Discharge of semen occurs during sleep, caused by sexual dreams. So yes, I have asked some friends about this one, that there is a discharge semen mixed with sticky fluid whenever they are sleeping. So there are instances now that they are dreaming of something sexual like that. It may also occur during conscious manipulation of the male sexual organ known as masturbation. So this sticky fluid, where it is mixed with the semen, it is known as the masturbation. It is the process of it. So religion strictly prohibits masturbation that is coupled with sexual fantasies, but science liberally regards masturbation as a normal phenomenon unless it becomes a habitual aberration that may affect confidence in heterosexual relationship. So yes, there are really religions that is very strict when it comes to masturbation, because there are instances that it affects their beliefs within their religion. May nabasa po akong research na kung saan itong masturbation ay ipinagbabawal sa kanilang religion kasi daw hindi po ito makatao. So, syempre, we have different beliefs, we have different ideas. So, that's why it usually different from one another. So, another concept under physical development is the sexual identity. So, adolescents are concerned about their body image, sexual attractiveness, how to do sex, and the future of their sexual lives. Most adolescents manage to develop a mature sexual identity, but a number go through it with much activities, interests, and styles of behavior. So, in adolescence stage, dito nangyayari yung confusion between of your own sex, yung pagkakakilanlan mo. I have some friends na hindi talaga nila alam kung sino sila. Hindi nila alam kung kanino sila attractive, and there are instances as well na they are not able to identify themselves as to what they should be. So that is sexual identity. Under adolescence period, there is so much confusion. So next is sexual orientation. A person's tendency to be attracted to people of the same sex. So people in the same sex is called homosexual orientation. Whereas people of the different sex is called as heterosexual orientation, and same sex is called bisexual in orientation. So, in terms of sexual identity, adolescence is a period when most gay or lesbian and transgenders begin to recognize and make sense of their feelings. So, through the guidance of their peers, through the guidance of their parents, teachers, counselors, adolescents at this stage, they will now have the courage to show who are really they. Kung sino ba talaga sila. Kasi sa adolescent stage, dito po yung mga may mababa kang low self-esteem, ano ba yung self-confidence mo to show who you really are. So next is the implication for child care, education, and parenting. To meet the physical development of adolescent children, parents need to be aware of manifestation of behavioral patterns that require closer communication, guidance, and support. So in this adolescent stage, dito po yung mapupusok yung mga kabataan. So that's why they need the utmost care, guidance, and support from their parents, from their peers, to where they are belonging. The teen is especially addictive to modern gadgets for music listening, video games, mobile phone, communication, and social media posting. So, as we all know, we are now in the 21st century wherein we are really technological advanced. So, most teens, most adolescents are now into technology, into social media, and there are instances that adolescents will be addicted to this technological era. So that's why child care, parenting, and development is really crucial to every adolescent in order for them to track the correct way. So these activities cause shorter sleeping time that may contribute to increased levels of daytime drowsiness, sleeping problems, and depression. So, yes, because of the too much spent time in the technology, in surfing the social media, watching videos, TikTok, YouTube, and so other apps, there are instances that the sleeping routine of every teens are being affected, are being disturbed. So that's why, like me, pumuputok po yung pimples ko kapag I don't have that enough sleep or rest in that day. So that's why implication for child care, education, and parenting is really important. So the last one is body image and the adolescent. So consciousness about body image is strong during the adolescent period. So adolescents or teens in the adolescent stage is very conscious. They are conscious about how they look, and how they wear. Yes. So the physical features of the human body, facial looks, body size, color of skin, depend on the genetic heritage which must be respected. So, dito na rin po yung self-esteem pumapasok because children, That's why they are being, what do you call that? They're being insecure of themselves. They don't have the courage, they don't have the confidence to show up themselves. So, however, there is more to body image than physical looks. And this concern good habits in relation to cleanliness and grooming. So, syempre, adolescents are, as we have to be conscious with our cleanliness and grooming kasi nagbibinaga na po tayo, tumatanda na po tayo. Hindi katulad ng mga bata pa tayo na we are not conscious enough on how they look. Asim-asim ka, hindi pa nagpapawis ng nagkapahid ng pawis. So that's it. So another is proper wearing of clothes according to parent styles. So we have this adolescents nowadays. They are fond of imitating on the things or the outfit that is being trending online or most of the people are wearing. Like for example, the miniskirt, the wide leg, that's it, the crop tops. Those are the current styles that we cannot decide on adolescents whether they will be indulged into or not. So next is the curriculum and then body posture. So since adolescent in this stage are very conscious with themselves, they must have the body composition wherein they are comfortable too. So those are the concepts under physical development. Those are hormones, sexual identity, sexual orientation, self-esteem, implication for child care, parenting, and education. And the next is body image of the adolescent.
Good day everyone. So, my assigned topic is cognitive development of high school learners. So, before I start, let me define first what is cognitive development. So, cognitive development means the growth of a child's ability to think and reason. So, this growth happens differently from ages 6 to 12 and 12 to 18. And changes in thinking patterns are marked by the acquisitions of new cognitive skills due to the brain's increasing in weight and refining synaptic connections, technically known as corpus callosum, which join and coordinate the two hemispheres of the brain. Another brain development is the process of correlated temporal and the parietal areas, technically known as myelination. This second development covers the brain systems whose executive functions relate to attention, verbal fluency, language, and planning. So, corpus callosum means the primary commissural region of the brain consisting of white matter tracts that connect the left and the right cerebral hemispheres, while myelination is the process by which brain oligodendrocytes produce layers of myelin that wrap around the neuronal axons and act as a layer of insulation for the transmission of electric action potentials down the neural axon. So, Piaget formal operational thinker. So, there are three formal operational thinker of Piaget. So, A. Propositional thinking, making assertions outside visual evidence and stating what may be possible things not seen by the eyes. Relativistic thinking, subjectively making an opinion facts involving one's own bias, prejudice, of distortion of facts, which may be either right or wrong. Last is the real versus possible, examining a situation and exploring the possible in terms of situations or solutions. Next is Ziegler's informational processing skills. So, Robert Ziegler views the influence of environment on thinking in his experiments. He used role models in relation to balance, weight, distance, weight, conflict distance, and other conflict balance problems. He examined the correct and wrong answers to each of the problems and drawing out rule models in thinking and knowing. Thereupon, adolescents may show number 1. Speed in information processing, coupled with greater awareness and control on acquired knowledge base, a more efficient kind of thinking compared with the other of the child. So, dito sa speed in information processing, they adapt parang parang yung isang bata mas mabilis yung pag-adapt ng knowledge sa kanyang brain kaysa sa isang bata na mas mahina yung kanyang brain. Next is complexity by way of considering longer-term implication of possibilities beyond the here and now. Increased volume of processing coupled with longer memory span. So, example, so dito sa last na increased volume of information processing coupled with longer memory span, mas yung utak ng bata mas hindi siya madaling makalimot kung ano yung itinuro. Example, kahapon ng lesson nila, hindi pa niya nakakalimot yon hanggang kinabukasan. So, next is metacognition. So, metacognition is the ability to identify one's own thinking process and strategies exclusive of perception, memory, understanding, application, analysis, assessment, and innovation. So, the adolescent able to know or state, I know that among the memory data stored in his mind, also able to state a know-how referring to procedural process that improves memory recall through the use of mnemonic device. So, in other words, metacognition is put simply thinking about one's thinking. More precisely, it refers to the process used to plan, monitor, and assess one's understanding and performance. So, metacognition includes a critical awareness of one's thinking and learning and oneself as a thinker and learner. So, overachievement. So, the overachieving adolescents may demonstrate superior work habits, greater interest in schoolwork, more consistency in doing assignments, and more greater performance consciousness. Characteristic of overachievers are positive self. So, dito, mas nabibuild na nila yung kanilang self-esteem, confidence, and optimism. Number 2, openness to authority. 3, positive interpersonal relations. So, number 3, positive interpersonal relations. Number 4, less conflict in the issue of self-autonomy. So, less conflict in ourselves. Number 5, academic orientation. So, academic consciousness. Goal orientation. So, mas more on goal siya. Number 7, control over anxiety. So, nakokontrol niya yung depression at anxiety niya. So, underachievement. So, the adolescent may perform below the standard set. So, withdraw underachievers refers to those who have a more pronounced tendency to be passive, resulting to being submissive and docile. They follow the path of non-resistance, not reacting to given assignments and score regulations. They do not participate in class and activities, while aggressive underachievers are those who tend to be talkative, disruptive, and rebellious. So, in other words, withdraw underachievers are children who appear bored and disinterested and do not try in school. They follow school rules but are usually a non-participating member of a classroom, while aggressive underachievers may be described as disruptive, talkative, rebellious, and even potentially hostile in a classroom. So those children who have a poor self-esteem, an extremely limited view of themselves, or see themselves in terms of failure process or possess the helpless orientation. Next is the behavior and adolescent cognitive growth. Number 1, egocentrism. This is the adolescent's tendency to think too much of themselves while being too sensitive to social acceptance of their appearance, action, feelings, ideas, and etc. So, in egocentrism, mas yung bata is mas sensitive sa kanyang sarili at hindi siya ganun nakikipaghalubilo sa iba or nakikipag-socialize. In other words, egocentrism is the inability to differentiate between self and other. More specifically, it is the inability to accurately assume or understand any perspective other than one's own. Egocentrism is found across the lifespan in infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Next is the idealism. This refers to imagining the far-fetched and less ideal situations at home, school, and in society. Number 3, increased argument. Teens enjoy learning through the use of a group dynamics including role play, discussion, debate, and drama. So, increased argumentativeness. So, yung bata, mas na-enjoy nila yung mga grupo-grupo na tasks like role play, debate, drama. Next is developing occupational skills. Theorist John Holland has identified basic personality factors that match with attitude and work preference. Una dyan is realistic. Prefers practical tasks including those requiring physical labor and motor coordination and less of interpersonal skills. So in realistic, mas nagpuput sila ng so much effort. While investigative prefers tasks that are conceptual such as in the field of science and technology. So dito sa investigative, mas prefer ng mga bata yung pag-investigative or mga fields of science or technology. Conventional prefers structures that cater to the needs of others. Like, if for example, in conventional is the doctor or nurse. Parang yung isang tao mas nag-care or nag-aalaga. Enterprising prefers independence and innovation in business and other enterprises that reflect autonomy and personal initiative. And lastly, at artistic, mas prefer ng mga bata ang art kasi mas na-express nila yung kanilang art, like self-expression. So, that's all.
Classmates. So today I'm going to discuss to you all about the social emotional development of a high school learners. During adolescence, the teen develops social cognitive in the context of family structure, the school, the community, and media. They also manifest emotion which need to be regulated for success in school as well as his or her emotional well-being. So it only means that the main factors that affect the social cognitive development of adolescence is the main factor of that is the family, the school, and the community, and also the media. As teens starts to become more social aware, recognizing emotions in those around them. So we already know if kung sino talaga yung mga main factors na nakaka-help sa kanila na ma-develop ang social cognitive nila. This is the start of developing empathy for others. Just like for example, if a teen might begin to notice how each other of their friends react a little differently to the same situation, teen also begin to manage their emotions. So because of that, as we can see that in adolescent stage, the teen there, they have already this, they can handle their emotions, they can manage properly their emotions. And then, human emotions. Emotions are commonly known human feelings that are manifested by very unconscious or conscious mood. It is a subjective reaction to internal or external stimulus and involves physical change, action, or appraisal. So, human emotions, it only means that those feelings that we express, if what we feel, that is what we call emotions. And then, emotions is manifested, varied by unconscious and conscious. It is also reacted, subjectively reacted in internal and external. As we can see in those adolescents, some adolescents, they express their feelings or their emotions by externally and internally. And here are the unique patterns of emotions. The first one is event that is strong or important. Right, if there is something important event or strong events that will happen, just like for example, in your family, your mother and father quarrel each other. The teen will going to react according to the situation. And then the second one is the psychological changes in heart, pulse rate, brain activity, hormones level, and the body temperature. So if that teen react accordingly to the certain situation, his or her pulse rate is different. Makikita natin na yung teen doon sa specific situation is magiging kabado siya, tapos parang maano niya yung problema doon na nangyayari. Mag-iiba na yung reaction niya. Ganon. And then the third one is readiness or actions often described as fight or flight. So, positive motivation helps adolescents to be confident, optimistic, and energetic, and enhance high level of their physical well-being. Right? If you possess those positive emotions, you are confident enough to show what you have, to participate in school, and that is the reason why some teen they have high grades in school. They um, perform they perform well at school. But then, on the other hand, negative emotions are risk factor for adolescents. Why? Because some teen experience depression, anxiety, and stress. Those three negative emotions are the main factors that affect most of the teen nowadays. As we can see, there are some things that they don't want to go to school. Why? Because they are depressed, they feel anxiety, they are stressed. So those are the negative emotions. And then the next one is social emotions. Social emotions starts to emerge as early as toddler. So, yung social emotions na i-emerge na as early as toddler, parang na may ano na, pag toddler ka pa, na i-experience mo na yung social emotions. Why? Because such feelings are envy, embarrassment, shame, guilt, and pride. Di ba pag yung mga bata, gusto nila kung ano yung may isang, kung anong mayroon sa isang bata, gusto nila meron sila. Tapos, pag pinapagalitan sila, nahihiyak agad sila, ayaw na nilang lumabas, minsan nagagalit, ganon. So, yung social emotions ay naipapalabas na natin pag toddler pa lang yung bata. Observable emotions during these years may not be accurate, but they can be a problem if not be controlled. So, these social emotions, pag hindi siya maagapan, pag hindi siya makontrol, pag hindi siya ma-correct ng parents or someone who guided that kid, will be a big problem. Emotions affect learning since learners may pay attention to things with emotional significance. Adolescents are seen to tend to emotions from social evolution such as feelings, embarrassed when being looked at. So, some adolescents kasi, um, yung ano sila, parang sensitive talaga sila. Pag minsan kasi, may mga adolescents na, pag tinitingnan lang sila, parang nafe-feel nila na may something mali sa kanila, kaya nafe-feel nila na nahihiya sila, ayaw na nila makipag-socialize, parang ganun. An important lesson for high school teacher is you should not simply dismiss emotional negativity as normal phase but should address the needs of teenagers who are chronologically happy or moody. So, teachers must also guide their students in order for them to control their emotions. Kasi may mga times na yung student, pag hindi sila i-guide properly ng parents nila, parang napapariwara sila. Tapos, they don't know what they are doing. But this one is implication to adolescents on education and parenting. Emotional skills influence the adolescent's learner success in schoolwork. Learners who are able to regulate their emotions tend to be happier, better and better able to pay attention and learn more. So if that specific thing, parang hindi niya hahayaan na maano siya ng mga negative emotions or mag-lose sa kanya yung negative emotions kasi may times na example, pag yung negative emotions mo ay hahayaan mo na mag-lose sa'yo, maaapektuhan lahat ng ginagawa mo. Hindi ka makakapag perform ng maganda sa class, sa school, tapos parang makakapag-decide ka ng hindi tama. So if that specific teen knows how to control their emotions, they can perform very well at school. As the teen is susceptible to peer pressure, the negative influence of social media, drug use, and addiction, early romantic, social and tourism, and the teacher in the school are conduct interventions to assess the youth with focus on risky and inappropriate behavior while promoting positive development among adolescents. So alam mo naman natin talaga na may mga bata na madali lang sila ma-impluwensyahan ng kanilang mga kaibigan. Pero may mga bata din na hindi sila kaagad na-impluwensyahan ng kanilang mga kaibigan. So dito makikita natin na pag ang bata ay madali lang ma-impluwensyahan ng kanilang mga kaibigan, dito nila negative influence social media, marunong na silang gumamit ng drugs, and then dahil doon yung teacher at school dito na papasok at ipapakita na nila dito na para ma-guide nila ng maayos yung mga student para ma-promote nila ang positive development among adolescents. Dahil kung mag-guide nila properly yung mga students or yung mga teen or mga kabataan, walang mga kabataan na mapapariwara. And I guess that's all, classmates. Teen starts to become more social aware, recognizing emotions in those around them. So, we already know kung sino talaga yung mga main factors na nakaka-help sa kanila na ma-develop ang social cognitive nila. This is the start of developing empathy for others. Just like for example, if a teen might begin to notice how each other of their friends react a little differently to the same situation, teen also begin to manage their emotions. So, because of that, as we can see that in adolescent stage, the teen they have already this, they can handle their emotions, they can manage properly their emotions. And then, human emotions. Emotions are commonly known human feelings that are manifested by very unconscious or conscious mood. It is a subjective reaction to internal or external stimulus and involves physical change, action, or appraisal. So, human emotions, it only means that those feelings that we express, if what we feel, that is what we call emotions. And then, emotions is manifested, varied by unconscious and conscious. It is also reacted, subjectively reacted in internal and external. As we can, as we can see in those adolescents, some adolescents, they express their feelings or their emotions by externally and internally. And here are the unique patterns of emotions. The first one is event that is strong or important. Right? If there is something important event or strong events that will happen, um, just like for example, um, in your family, your mother and father quarrel each other. The teen will going to react according to the situation. And then the second one is the psychological changes in heart, pulse rate, brain activity, hormones level, and the body temperature. So if that teen react accordingly to the certain situation, his or her pulse rate is different. Makikita natin na yung teen doon sa specific situation is magiging kabado siya, tapos parang maano niya yung problema doon na nangyayari. Mag-iiba na yung reaction niya. Ganon. And then the third one is readiness or actions often described as fight or flight.
Again, good afternoon, Sir Chad, and to you, my classmates. So, we the group 9 was assigned to the topic adolescent. So, we have discussed about the physical, cognitive, and social-emotional development of high school learners. So, adolescent. So, we have learned that adolescent comes from the Latin word which is adolescere, which means to grow or to grow to maturity. So according to some studies, adolescent is a biological development occurring at the age of 11 for girls and 12 for boys. So which means that girls are ahead of reaching the adolescent period than ahead from the boys. But according to the developmental task of Robert Havikhurst, adolescent is in the age bracket of 13 to 18. So it wasn't specified for girls or for boys, but he just tackled that 13 to 18 is the age bracket for the adolescents. Then we have the factors which is said to contribute to the early or delayed puberty. We have the heredity, diet, exercise, and the social environmental influence. So adolescent is the stage of greatest growth. That developmental differences between girls and boys is most evident during this stage. So there is a change in shape and in the body composition, especially for girls. Then we have the factors affecting the physical development of the adolescent. We have the hormones, the secular trend, sexual identity, and the sexual orientation, as well as the self-esteem. Then we have also differentiate the corpus callosum and the myelination, wherein corpus callosum is the brain's increase in weight and refining synaptic connections which join and coordinate the two hemispheres of the brain. So what are the two hemispheres of the brain? We have the left and the right hemisphere. Alright, so myelination, on the other hand, is the brain's development. Brain development is a process of correlated temporal and parietal areas, which covers the brain systems. And the adolescents have this ability to say, I know that and I know how. It's because of the mnemonic device, wherein mnemonic device is a device that assists in remembering something. So mnemonic device helps us in remembering something in the past. And we have also learned about the behavior and adolescent cognitive growth, wherein we have the egocentrism, idealism, and increased argumentativeness. Then we have also learned about the developing occupational skills by John Holland, wherein we have realistic, investigative, conventional, enterprising, and artistic. Then we have also tackled about the positive and negative emotions. Then it says here that social emotions start to emerge as early as the toddler years. So maybe we can just notice, but when we were young, we were able to build this social emotions. Then emotions affect learning. And it says here that you should not simply dismiss emotional negativity. This is for the teachers as normal phase, but should address the needs of teenagers who are chronically happy or moody. So from the previous what they call this research rating that we have, it also says that the schools should not just prioritize, the administrators should not just prioritize cognitive development or the intellectual development of the students, but they have also to prioritize or give emphasis to the social emotional development of the learners. It's because the emotions drives our days, drive our ways, so it has a high percent of our identity of who we are. So emotions really should be addressed so that there will be a balanced development of the learners, especially for adolescents, wherein we during that time we are being prone, adolescents are being prone to a lot of consciousness. So, especially at this age of adolescent. So, the importance of this topic for us future educators. Well, first, for us learners, for us to learn the different factors that we are going through this life, so that we will have this knowledge to answer those questions, those curiosity, why is this something like this, why is something like that. So this topic is helpful for us in along in our journey. Well, for future educators, this topic is very helpful for us to also understand our future students, like why are they doing this, like this and that, and to better understand our future students.